Hi, so today we are getting rid of age spots, diminishing cellulite, and a fabulous new to me product I want to talk to you about, and other stuff. Welcome to Happy Stuff and Fluff, a channel for women over 50 who are getting happy and growing younger. If this is your first visit, don't forget to subscribe and remember to hit the little bell so that you'll be informed when a new video comes out. Oh, so how was your week? I'm so glad I've got you guys. I really am. You told me all about your house moves and how you dealt with it and offered some advice and some tips, and I promise you I'm taking all of those things on board. I did have an idea to just walk away, leave everything, leave it to someone else, i.e. removal men, and throw everything away or give it to charity and so on. But since then I've calmed down a little bit and taken some of your advice on board and not being too eager to do that. So some of our things is going into storage, and we're taking with us just what we need to the apartment. So thank you so much for all of your input on that. It's an ongoing journey and I'm sure you'll be along there with me. So again, thanks for that. Now then, just a little bit of an update on some of the things that we've talked about so far in terms of skincare. Now, as I've said to you guys before, this is not a makeup and skincare channel, but I do believe that it helps us to feel good and gives us confidence if we think we look good. And obviously skincare is a huge part of that. But I do believe that it's the happiness within that shines through in your skin. And if you start there as a basis, then all of the other things are kind of just the cherry on top of the cake. Okay, so the BBC did a television programme recently called, I think it was called The Truth About, or something like that, about looking good. And they asked the question, do cellulite treatments actually work? And now obviously this wasn't a huge research task, because I think they used probably about 8 women or 6 women. It may still be available if you go to the BBC and cellulite. And they gave them all different treatments. Now I can't remember the other treatments, but the one that came out on top, remember these? Remember this? I say remember this, I mean you may have been using these all along. I used to dry brush probably only once a week and then stopped doing it. Well, let me tell you, the results they got from dry brushing on the women who had cellulite were brilliant, and certainly worth taking up dry brushing again. So I use this one, and I like this one because the bristles are not too hard, but they are just they're just right. And dry brush, since then I've been dry brushing every day. So you'll know how to do this. You dry brush towards the heart if you're doing it. So up the arms like this and underarms like that, because here as we get older can be a little bit suspect. So that's the good way to do it that way. And then upwards towards your heart, upwards on your legs and upwards on your tummy. Although I do believe that they suggest that you brush the tummy in the way of your intestines, or the way they go around your tummy. Have a look if you're not quite sure how to do it. I like this one because it comes with this little brush. This is a facial brush. I don't use this on my face. With everything else that I'm doing to my face in terms of exfoliation, and I'll talk about that in another video, the retin-A journey, I don't feel that I need this, but some of you might, and I think it would be quite a nice thing to do too. So I don't use that, but I have been using the dry brush since the BBC. So before the shower, have a shower and then put on moisturiser, and I intend to keep doing that. So far I don't struggle too much with cellulite, but of course I don't want to struggle with it either. So in some areas this is more preventative, and in others I'm going to see if it helps at all, and I'll let you know about that. So I'll put a link below to this one, because this comes off like this. Now then, I must just remember one of our subscribers who also has her own channel, Sharon Cape Heart. Oh, I'll put a link below. She dry brushes her hands, and look at her hands if you go and have a look at her channel. They are lovely, lovely, lovely hands, and she swears by dry brushing on her hands, so that's something worth looking at. Now, speaking of hands, do you remember when we started goal setting at the beginning of the year, and I talked about the fact that I had age spots, on my hands? Excuse me one sec. Oh, I do enjoy coffee. Well, I went for treatment. So I wanted to show you how I've been getting on with IPL treatment. So that's intense pulsed light, I think it's called. Now, excuse me, I'm not sure of the technical ins and outs of this. I know it differs from laser treatment in as much as I think the wavelengths are slightly different lengths when you use the light treatment as opposed to a laser, which is just one length. But anyway, in terms of skin rejuvenation, this is what I used. So it was, I went for treatment. It's called Ellipse IPL Skin Rejuvenation. And this is what happened after 3 treatments. Now, I'm not usually a fan of before and after pictures about things that are very subtle, such as fine lines and wrinkles and so on. But here, it's quite obvious it's either there or it isn't. So I did do before and afters, and you'll see. What happens is when you have the first one, the age spots tend to go a little bit darker for a few days when you've had your treatment afterwards. And then over the next few weeks, the effects of your treatment starts to kick in. So you can see that's what happened here. I've had 3 treatments so far. Excuse the light, I did it in the same place, tried to do it in the same place with the same camera, but still the lighting was a little bit different. This is where I ended up after the 3rd treatment, which was probably now about a week ago. And I'll show you that. Look at my hand. Now, if you look closely, you can still see where they were, but in comparison, gosh, I'm over the moon with the effects of this. And I know that what you can see there, possibly in a couple of weeks' time, will fade. So if it does, of course, I'm not going to have another treatment on that. If it doesn't, I will have another treatment. So that will be 4 treatments, and it cost me about £70 each time. Now, they tell me that once they've gone, they've gone. And as long as I don't, as long as I continue to look after them in terms of sun exposure and so on, then I should be okay. So I'm delighted with that. I had the actual intensity of the light as high as I could stand it each time. Now, it only goes on for a second, not even a second, before they move on along your hand. If they kept it on for any length of time, then I'd be a coward and stop them. But I didn't, because they move it along, so it doesn't actually hurt because of that. So if you're thinking of having it done, on judging on my results, then obviously look into it yourselves, but I've been delighted with it. Now, talking about what was I talking about? Oh yes, talking about sun damage. Well, not really sun damage, but using sunscreens. Oh God, I found this. It is called Jouer, and it is luminizing moisture tint sunscreen. Okay, now I got this in golden. I'm wearing it today under my foundation, because that's how I've started to use it. In this country, we don't get an awful lot of sunshine, although you're going to see the sun coming through the window in a few minutes, but it isn't strong in the north of England. And I know we're meant to use sunscreen anyway, whether or not, especially if you're using Retin-A. Despite the fact that I've looked and tried many sunscreens, under foundation, I still don't like them. This one, oh wow, I'm wearing it today. Now, I don't know if you can actually see, but it makes my skin, it just gives this beautiful, polished, finished kind of glow underneath your foundation. Now, I got this in golden. Shall I put some little on my hand? I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this, or if you can see that beautiful effect it has. If I could catch the light. Not sure. This is golden. Well, and I'll continue to use this. I can't see. I hope you can see that. If you can't, you're just going to have to take my word for it. It's beautiful. And yeah, no scent. It just goes on so nicely and it makes your skin look so cool. I will next time get the bronzed as opposed to the golden, because I know that in summer I'll be able to wear this on its own. It gives a gorgeous tint that just gives this lovely healthy glow. So I'm going to put a link down to that below because I think it's fantastic. I know I don't usually talk about makeup as such, but I think, oh yeah, it's an SPF 20. Now I know that's not high. But certainly at this time for me in England, it's perfect. And in the summertime, of course, I'll probably wear a sunscreen underneath and put that on top because, as I say, it's got a beautiful tint and it gives an excellent finish. So I was quite excited to tell you about that because it's not very often that I buy something and think, wow, that really has made a difference, and that does it. If you've used it, you know about it already, let me know what you think down below. Okay, so that's about it really. I think I've covered all I wanted to tell you today. Yeah, I wanted to show you that because I've been putting that off, treating those, and I don't like them, and I'm so pleased for that. And the Cellulite, the dry brushing, who knew? And the Jouer. That's what I wanted to tell you, and to thank you for all your advice about the house move. I'll keep you informed about that and hope to get back soon cause I do want to do a catch up on the Retin-A, but probably going to do the skin thing maybe once a month, something like that. I do enjoy talking about it. I know you enjoy hearing about it because you it shows in viewing figures and in comments and so on, and I do think it is important. But as I've said, I believe it is the happiness within that brings out the beauty in your skin, and that's where I want to focus the most. Okay, thank you for being here. If you like the video, please share it with your friends and get them to come and join us. That would be great. In the meantime, remember that on the Happy Stuff and Fluff, we are getting happy and growing younger. Can't wait to see you next time. Bye-bye.